Hi, good evening. Welcome to What the Papers Are Saying. My name is Selom Adunu. Happy to have you once again. On this show, we bring you all the analysis and discussions on the major headlines that the newspapers churn out in the course of the week. We try to put context to the headlines and the stories we see on the stands and even on the websites. My guest today will help me delve into two critical issues that have come up in the course of the week. The first one having to do with the matter of the LGBT bill that has been passed and awaiting presidential assent, and all the issues that have come with it, issues of a lack of quorum and what that will mean for the constitutionality of the bill should it become an act, the president's comment, the issue about the clause 9 of the bill, which actually deals with promotion, etc. We'll deal with all of that with my guests this evening. Also, it's been raining and it's been flooding. Places have been flooded. Yesterday, June 3, nearly got us back into what we saw about a decade ago. Many places have collapsed, have been flooded. A building or two have collapsed. The question is, what else can we do? Is there a way we can remodel the city, or is a lost case? Do we all move out of Accra, go elsewhere? What can we do? Is it human, or it's an engineering problem? We'll deal with all of that also on this program tonight. I'll return, provide the details of the headlines, and then share with you our WhatsApp number, because it's an interactive show, and then we'll get a discussion underway. Don't go away.
With these results, you can do medicine, law, everything.
But uncle, are you sure?
I am the Ministry of Education in this house.
You, Ministry of what education?
My daughter, do nursing. It's your best chance with this result.
No, go business.
Oh, please, what do you know? Can you even read?
Go become YouTuber like me.
Use Admissions Checker.
Admissions Checker?
Yes, Admissions Checker. Ghana's first university admissions hub. Just sign up at admissionschecker.com. Enter your WASSCE or NOVDEC results. Choose your dream universities and programs, and instantly find out exactly where you have the best chances of admission.
Wow, what if I want scholarship abroad?
Simple. Tap scholarships and find opportunities too.
Can it also find husband abroad?
Admissions Checker. There is a university and a course for everyone.
This is where stories rise, where strength speaks, and legends are born. Out of hundreds of entries, they emerged as the 10 Channel 1 community legends of the 2026 cohort.
You're 14 years, you're among, people who are...
My name is Daisy Mina Entry, 32.
There's someone who is from Western North, Sefi Adofwa.
We have it that wherever you travel to, home is home.
10 Channel 1 community legends, 10 powerful journeys, one platform to inspire a nation, from hustle to impact, from struggle to success. Watch them tell it all.
In a place where almost nothing is available.
I have a foundation called Grace on Duty Foundation.
Whatever they are going through is part of the struggle. That should even give them the motivation to learn.
Because I'm a game changer wherever I go.
The Channel 1 community legends, next level stories, real people, real power, real glory. Stay tuned and be inspired only on Channel 1 TV.
You're welcome back. This is What the Papers Are Saying. My name is Selom Adunu. The show is live and interactive. You can join us via our WhatsApp line 020-444-7033, and we'll be happy to share your views with the rest of the world. Two key issues we are looking at this evening. The anti-LGBT bill, President Mahama says is far from becoming law. What does that mean? And what do you make generally of the passage of the bill? Are you concerned about the issues that have dogged its passage, issues about quorum, issues about not going through the proper processes, being rushed, etc. Speaker Babin has called for a reconsideration of the bill that has already been passed. Meanwhile, Sam George says there is no legal basis for the said reconsideration. Bahama Yariga says he is done with the bill. What is left is for the president to assent to it, and he has no power over that. President Mahama in faraway UK said the bill is far from over, because far from becoming law, referencing the fact that there are a number of things that could be done to the bill constitutionally if he sees that a few things are not in their proper places, including referring the bill to the Council of State and even eventually back to Parliament, etc. So we see how it goes. Mind you, the bill or the matter of the anti-LGBT became a major issue in election 2024 when Nana Akufo-Addo failed, neglected, or refused to sign it, to accentuate, citing issues of pending cases before the courts, human rights matters, etc. We'll see how it goes. Also, it's been raining. We would like to hear from you what exactly your situation have been. Areas around the Ghana East, Pantine, Oyarifa, Dome, Madina, etc. were hit very much, and some other areas also, Kaswa, etc. were not spared. What can we do about the rains? What can we do? Are assemblies failing us, or human beings ourselves are not doing what we have to do, building in waterways, etc.? But shouldn't we be regulated, or shouldn't the law be enforced to keep us in check? We will deal with all of that. Let me go through the headlines with you. Let me start with anti-LGBT. The custodian says, confusion rocks new anti-LGBT bill. Minority queries NDC's sincerity. Mahama Babin stir doubt. Daily Guide, Speaker rejects past anti-LGBT bill. What is right must be done. The New Publisher, Leader versus Speaker, nothing to reconsider. The Speaker cannot in any way reverse what has happened. What has happened has happened. Daybreak, anti-LGBT plus bill far from becoming law. Mahama. Channel 1, newsonline.com, anti-LGBT plus bill. Government inconsistencies frustrating enactment. Minority. myjoyonline.com, stop partisan games and pass a foolproof anti-LGBT law. Dr. Puni Frimpong charges MPs. The second matter, Accra floods. What lessons can we be learning from past disasters? Daily Graphic says, 11 years on, June 3 disaster victims cry for 40 million cedis damages. The Ghanaian Times, June 3 disaster victims push for justice, compensation. CityNewsroom.com, loss of wetlands, retention ponds behind recurring Accra floods. Engineer. 3news.com, law enforcement could have avoided flood and fire disasters. Greater Accra Regional Minister. Channel 1 newsonline.com, recurring floods show June 3 lessons not learnt. Isa Fuseni. All right. Again, show live and interactive. Join us with your WhatsApp messages on 020-444-7033, also displayed on your screen, and we'll be glad to share your views with the rest of the world. Let me introduce my guest for tonight, Musa Dankwa, who is a pollster and executive director of Global Info Analytics. Musa, good to have you.
Nice to be here.
And my senior, Albert Koshiga, who is a senior partner at Ray Albert and Partners at the Christ the King premises. It's a law lecturer as well. Koshiga, good to have you.
It's good to be here.
All right, so we're dealing with the anti-LGBT matter first. We thought this matter was going to go away after the passage, but now we've seen a number of issues. And I'll start off with Musa. I think you've pulled this matter before in the past, getting to the last election. But have you been surprised at the difficulties the passage of the bill, has seen in the last few days?
I heard when the bill was first introduced, and I think I heard Mahama Ayariga saying that within 2 weeks they believe the bill will be passed. And then within 48 hours the bill was passed. I was quite surprised. But I didn't really think it was going to be this kind of political football for the LGBTQ+. If you look at the act that was passed last time, that was not assented to. Certainly, the president then had some issues that were raised, and some CSOs have issues as well, and some human rights groups also had issues. And I think that provided some grounds for the president to not to assent to it, and the thing went round until it expired. So when it was reintroduced again, it was all believed that they would have a second look at some of those things and try and take some consent or some consensus within Parliament to make sure that the bill is kind of consensusly approved by the House. But what we saw is that the minority appears to be on one side on the final bill, and then the majority too is on one side, saying that it's been watered down. And then if you look at the argument the minority has advanced, maybe the majority, they were making excuses for certain professionals involved in the lawyers, doctors who may have to deal with LGBTQ persons while performing their duties, as those people being exempted from the act of promotion, and also the media houses. I mean, from a layman's point, I think you can't criminalize a lawyer who is going to defend somebody who has been accused of LGBTQ+, because the Constitution guarantees what innocent until proven guilty, and without a lawyer, how can he, defend himself? So, I think those exemptions are quite in order, but I don't know exactly what needs to be in there for it to be as tight as they want it to be. If you look at what is happening, like the faith groups are the one leading the charge for what they did for the passage. Unfortunately, the pressure groups haven't adduced any data to show the level of support the public has for the passage of the bill, either mildly or make it more stringent. In many jurisdictions, you would expect these groups to do proper study, research, or a survey that sample opinion of people and see which aspect of the law they will back and which aspect they think is too draconian. So that when they are engaging Parliament or the stakeholders, they know exactly the mood of the public, so they can see.
But a lot of that was done. A lot of public, our stakeholder engagements were held.
Were there data? Is there any poll? You see, you can gather 10, 20 people in the room, public engagement. Is that a public opinion?
But so you're saying that we should have had a poll on the specific
issues,
clauses.
Absolutely,
in the
to test the public whether they support. Look, in some places in the world, they come there with facts. That X number of people are saying that this is too draconian, but they support this option, that option. When you come to the table with that option, then you have a bill that kind of reflect the public feeling. If you leave it to the pressure groups, it is their own opinion.
For example, the faith-based organizations who are actually for the bill, reflect the views of their members. The Catholic Bishops' Conference, for example, when they appeared before the committee, and then the Pentecost Church, they say they hold in total about 6 million people in the country, and their view is that they are against LGBT, which in essence means that they support the bill. So what else do you need? I mean, who should do the research? The groups appearing before Parliament, or Parliament itself should have done the survey?
Look, let's look at some data from the July 2024 national poll that tested the issue of LGBT before the elections. Now, I hope I will find this data. We asked them about the LGBT issues, and I'm just trying to dig the data. We can be specific.
Okay. So while you dig that, let me take the lawyer's view. I mean, the bill was passed. We thought that was it, waiting for the president to speak or to do his part. Now we started hearing noises. From a legal point of view, do these voices or comments, I don't call them noises, do they have merit? Issues of quorum, issues of poor procedure, etc. The speaker even said that he was surprised at the passage because that wasn't the instruction he left, which actually raises a lot of issues about what the speaker, the deputy speaker, the presiding speaker can do and cannot do. He said they didn't follow his instructions. Because of that, he is asking for a reconsideration of the bill already passed. Do these concerns have merit?
Well, thank you for bringing me here once again. An opportunity to speak on this matter of great public interest. Salom, from where you're coming from, I do not know the particular instructions the speaker gave to the first deputy speaker. And so I cannot tell exactly whether the first deputy speaker complied or did not comply to a certain instruction, unless of course you have evidence of that express instruction, and then I can now tell if he did not follow or he followed. Do you get the point?
But the fact that he said he didn't follow and the bill was passed meant that he didn't follow.
No, he didn't follow what? I mean, we need to know what the clear instructions were.
The instructions were.
He didn't follow. So at this place, I mean, at this time, I cannot say whether there is merit in that or there's no merit in that. You get it? But what we know is that as a matter of law, there's a procedure for passing laws, okay? And you find the procedure in 106, which is further expanded by further procedures in the Parliament's own standing orders, amongst others, okay? So the question you have to ask yourself is what has happened and reported accurately, right? Does it comply with the provisions of the Constitution, specifically Article 106, when it comes to passing bills into acts of what? Parliament, right? And so if you ask me, and I've had the opportunity of seeing the report of the Committee on Constitutional and Legal Affairs, and I think they did a very detailed job. It's a 19-page document, and they have actually highlighted the procedure which, you know, they went through, or what the LGBT law has gone through. I mean, it looks to me like at some point I was not very clear because about something, I didn't have the real facts. But after reading what the report is saying, it looks like all the processes, for instance, introducing the bill into Parliament with its accompanying memorandum, and then the reference to committee, the first reading, the second reading, and then the consideration stage and the passage. From what I see, it looks like those stages were followed. And that's why I became a bit confused, because I haven't heard at any point if any of the MPs walked out of the proceedings. Did you come out? Did anybody walk out?
There's nothing like that on record.
On record. Yeah. So what it means is that the process went on. You get the point. Now, don't forget that this bill was passed in 2024, a few days before elections, right? And the bill lapsed because the Parliament was dissolved.
The Parliament was dissolved, yeah.
Now, once that happens, it means that the bill is gone. Now, what has happened now is that the bill has been introduced into Parliament again in accordance with Article 106 procedure. All right. So from the report I have and what I've read, it looks like the steps have been followed and the bill has been passed. Now we are waiting for the transmission of the bill to the president, or the presentation to the president. The Constitution says presentation, but we hear people say transmission and all that. Now, what is funny is that we don't even know the time period for the transmission. I think there's a vagueness over there. So the bill can remain in Parliament and be transmitted at any time.
But it should be reasonable time, shouldn't it?
Yeah, reasonable time, but that's what we don't know. But once the bill is transmitted and the president has it, then it triggers another constitutional process, and which you have alluded to, right? Will the president assent to the bill? If he will, he must do within a period of time. If he will not, within a period of time, he must indicate to Parliament
why he's not
going to assent to the bill, what steps, and then make recommendations. And if he will not completely, he has to say that. But you get to a point where Parliament can override what the president says. You get it? Yeah. So, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, where we are now, the process, from my reading of the facts I have in the report, it looks like the procedure has been followed. And that's why I was very surprised when I heard some MPs say that a certain procedure was not followed and all that. I mean, I don't know. But Selom, you see, the thing is that the underlying issue or the underlying question should be that as a society, are we open to receive people with a certain sexual inclination? Are we ready? When you drill to the bone, right? What is the fundamental issue we are dealing with? Do we want LGBT, or we don't want to allow that to fester in our community? And it's looking like generally the people, the community is not in support of that. Okay. Now, one thing I find very interesting in the report is they talk about the people who belong to the intersex community. They are one of the groups that were considered, that were invited by this committee to hear their views. Now, the intersex community people are people who don't belong to the LGBTQ. They are not part of it. Now, but these are people who have genuine biological situations. So, for instance, we learn in basic science that when the female has XX chromosomes, the male has XY chromosomes, for instance. So, when a man meets the woman, the woman gives X and the man gives Y, it becomes a boy. When the woman gives X and the man gives X, it becomes what? A girl. Right? Now, these kind of people are people whose chromosomes have been distorted in a way, biologically. So, for instance, instead of having an XY, they become XXY. What it means is that they are female, but they have male tendencies in them, and vice versa. This was considered in the, I thought it was an interesting thing, because they are, and so this kind of chromosomal or biological situation predisposes them to a certain kind of sexual inclination. So people are ready to accept. And so they have been exempt. They are not people who are really being targeted by this bill. But the bill is targeting people who are expected or who have picked up a habit along the way.
Yes, but I think to be clear, the intersex part, the exemption granted intersex people in the document or by the committee is in respect of medical practitioners assisting them to have quote-unquote some corrective surgery. But it doesn't mean that you say you are male now and you are going after male, or you are female now after the corrective whatever and you are going after female.
Yes, so let's see.
Yes, so the prohibition, which the bill supports, is in respect of a male, assigned male, going to the hospital to say I feel female, so reassign me or surgically and make me female. Those ones the bill prohibits. But where it is biologically the case that let's say you have XXY chromosome, medical professionals are allowed to correct that using surgery.
That's what I'm making. So, assuming that you don't want that to be corrected and you want to keep XXY chromosome, what it means is that you are a mixture of male and female in a way. So, it can distort your sexual identity biologically. You get the point. So if by reason of this distortion of your biological identity, you have affinity for a man, when you also have a male hormone in you in a way, how do you deal with that situation? So it's a bit complex, but I'm only saying that the framers of the law considered all these issues and said that this kind of people are exempt in a way. In a way, they are exempt. But what is the problem is people who are clear males from birth, saying that they want to live with what? A male.
They feel female. If they feel female.
No, but this is not about transgender issues. So they are not. The issue of feeling female and all that doesn't even come into this. Is what they are talking about. They are talking about a male saying that is going after a male to keep a sexual relationship.
Yeah, but a male will go after a male because the other male may feel female.
Sometimes not.
No, that good. So that's the absurdity in this, because you see the male may go after the other male, the other male may be thinking or feeling female. The question is, what is the cause of that male feeling female?
And the male
is it because of
the male has attraction to a male?
Yes, the male has attraction, but I'm asking that to have an attraction to a male, and that male, the other male is feeling female, but you have to ask, what is the cause of that kind of feeling?
They argue that it's biological.
Biological, that's the point I'm making. So when you find yourself in this situation, how do you deal with it? And I'm saying that these things are not as simple as we see them. There can be very serious legal questions about this.
But let me ask you, a lot of that you said they might have picked up those things on the way. There's a way society socializes people.
Yeah.
Some may be natural, like the chromosomal,
the intersex community and nothing like that.
So those ones that were picked up on the way, do we say that because that's how they feel or they want to be, we should allow them?
No, that's what I try to distinguish. So from what I've been saying so far, I will not have a problem with the intersex community people, but I'm thinking of people who along the way, because of societal pressures, because of globalization, we are interacting a lot with Western communities, and so many absurdities are going on. So people are picking things and all that. Look, let me tell you, I was confronted face to face with some of these real issues. Once upon a time, when I was in Washington D.C., there are a lot of blacks have taken over D.C. and all that. Now, what it is that you see clear sexual advance from male to male. It's a very common thing. It's not like somebody has told me, but I have seen, and to some extent, close people are close, have experienced.
I
don't want to say.
You don't want to say.
I don't want to say.
You don't want to say whether you've been approached or not.
I don't
or whether you even made the approach or not.
I mean, I can't. I have been socialized in a way. I'm a family man. I have a wife. I have kids. I cannot be. But I'm just saying that. So beyond all this, maybe you have to help me to clarify this. What is the problem between the minority and the majority? I mean, I've seen that.
The problem is politics.
That's what I'm getting at.
The problem is politics. You hang in there. So we'll deal with that. The problem is politics. So yes, you wanted to put out some data. Did you get it?
Let's look at the voters as at 2024. Majority of voters clearly supported the bill, the LGBT.
Which meant they were against LGBT.
They were against it. But about a third opposed to the bill, including Christians and Muslims.
They were opposed to the bill?
Yes.
But not the practice.
Yeah, not the practice. I think there's a realization that there's an element of people's right. And so long as they're not promoting that right in public, and so long as they're not doing it in our face, that is their private business.
But exactly the case with the proponents of this bill, their problem is that it appears they are throwing it in our faces. So for example, recently you saw a high commissioner with a group, all of that. They had some place at Kwabenya also that police raided and all of that. That was growing. That was how, and some schools began to allow those things.
Let me tell you what caused the heightened fear of that practice. In 2024, there was a rumor that
a group was going to go to the conference.
Not only that, but within our school syllabus, there was going to be an introduction of some sort of.
Yes, and we saw some pictures in some of the books.
And that was what made the public agitated. That is no longer private issue, but people are trying to sneak that into our curriculum. And if he had found its way into the curriculum, it would have been a very big issue. So that was the reason why it became a very heightened issue those days. If you realize, though people support the act, but it's not a major concern for them, because those kind of attempts to sneak those parties into the curriculum is no longer the case. It's been rejected by the school council. So that fear is no longer there. So the public agitation towards or push for the bill has kind of gone down a bit. That's what I'm trying to say. And the point is that, look, if you come
but you see, the public agitation, promotion was part of the problem.
Yes.
That's how come the bill, the first one that was to go to the President, Akufo-Addo, was big on the promotion. So that you can't be seen promoting it.
Yes.
Okay, you can't be seen promoting it. Now the problem we have is that, or the problem from the minority viewpoint is that clause 9, which dealt with the issue of promotion, propaganda, etc., they claim that it's been diluted, because before, medical practitioners and lawyers, etc., could not be allowed by the law or the bill to practice their trade or their profession. If you were caught in that, it was criminalized. Now, maybe upon further consultation, they are saying that no, lawyers must do their work. They must represent people. Medical people must take care of people who are caught in all of that. So because of an academic freedom, academics can write about it, can research about it, etc. Because of that, let's go slow on that and let's allow them to do their work. That is one of the major concerns of the minority. This is where I bring in the politics.
Okay. Yeah. If I was them, look, these are the proposals. Go out there and test it by polling public opinion. And see whether you are aligned with the public opinion or you are opposed to public opinion. Because at the moment, look, the people could say, oh, I think this could be a reasonable adjustment to be made. And we think it is fair. Or no, we support the people.
But what do you think? You think the amendment to the Clause 9 is fair, now allowing so-called academic freedom in there, legal people doing their work, medical people doing their work, etc.?
I think it is fair.
So will you also say, now getting to the politics, will you also say that the system was unfair to Akufo-Addo then, because the bill which was to be transmitted to him to sign had all these things in there and he didn't feel comfortable? Do you think that the system was fair to him then?
The situation at the time was a lot heightened than it is now. There was heightened fear among people that the LGBT issues are being smuggled into a master curriculum. And that was what gave the pressure on Akufo-Addo. It wasn't because there were so many gays or so many conferences happening. It was the fear that, look, if this finds its way into the curriculum, its impact will be massive, from primary to JSS to senior high. Then it becomes like a national explosion.
I see.
So that was the pressure that was mounting on that one at the time.
Ahmed, so the president, Akufo-Addo, had a very, I won't call it draconian, but the law given him was too tight. All these prohibitions.
Who gave him the law?
The parliament. Parliament was to send it to him.
Yes.
So it criminalizes even people like you, lawyers, who may want to go defend people.
I'll be very surprised. I mean, if that law had passed, the truth of the matter is that you cannot criminalize somebody's profession. Did you get the point? I mean, there are so many people who provide medical care, medical doctors and all that. I mean, if you say that by providing medical care or representing people in court, you are in a way supporting or promoting.
So the rendition or the version of the bill passed now is
no.
Better.
Look, I would have been shocked that we would have a bill which actually criminalizes people.
So what was the whole noise about
yes,
when the president then decided to drag his feet?
No, so let me tell you something. You said that was the system fair to Akufo-Addo, but the question that you have to also ask yourself is, would he have had the opportunity to state his position in this matter? I mean, the transmission of the bill is not conclusive.
According to 106.
According to 106, all right? There's so many constitutional procedures that will happen if the bill is transmitted. So, at least if the bill is transmitted, the president has the opportunity to tell Parliament that I cannot deal with this bill, and these are the reasons, and I'm making the following recommendations, right? And we never even got to the bill never even got what? Transmitted. Because of legal challenges here and there. And so for me, I think that the bill in its current form is better than the way it was going to come out, previously. And I mean, let me say once again, I am generally conservative when it comes to some of these matters, and I do not see myself sitting to support this kind of practice in our society. I mean, it can be problematic. I mean, it can distort a lot of harmony in our society. And I think that the way things are right now, look, as you said, you can do whatever you want in your privacy, but when you begin to show it in public, and I think part of the law talks about showing affection, male, female, showing public affection and all that. Those things are not really what we are used to. Some have even gone ahead to justify this thing from the biblical perspective and all that, but really, I mean, we're not born into this.
The president has been speaking. Now, all eyes are on him. We don't know when Parliament will transmit it to him. The law doesn't say, but we hope it's reasonable so that within the next week or two, the transmission will be done. We'll deal with who will do the transmission itself. But this is what the president said about the nature or what will happen to the LGBT bill or law passed when it gets to his desk.
The president has a number of options in this matter. It must come for assent. And so once the president gets it, you go through it because you are not part of the discussion in Parliament. And so the legal representative, the legal counsel in the presidency and the Attorney General would sit on it because it was a private member's motion. Right. This was not a government bill. And so we'll look at it and make sure that everything is in order before the president is advised to assent. The president has another option if there are some things that he thinks are a problem. He can refer to the Council of State for advice. The Council of State is an advisory body to the president, and so they'll take a look at it, and then they will advise the president. And if there are issues, substantial issues that are raised, the president would return the bill to Parliament, indicating exactly what the issues are. And so there's still quite a while to go before that bill becomes law.
All right, so that's the president speaking far away in the UK and saying all of that. Just a quick one. Would you be disappointed if he doesn't accentuate, given all that we saw in 2024?
I think I will be disappointed.
As is, or, you expect him to make a few tweaks to it?
I mean, if he deems fit that there are few areas that he needs to be attended to.
He must take hold of it and do as Article 106 says.
Yes,
go through the process and then get it cleaned up.
But it has to be passed.
But what exactly should he clean up? A lot of the problems people had was with the clause 9, which had to do with the promotion, etc. But that has been watered down a bit. What other problem could he reasonably have?
We don't know what else he's been advised on. I mean, so that will be specific to him as to which aspect he thinks needs to be looked at again. I think that can be done. He has majority in Parliament.
Very well. And the transmission, the Speaker of Parliament has a role to play in the transmission through the Clerk of Parliament. The Speaker now has some issues. Let's hear what he says too.
What is right must be done rightly. Honourable members, I call on Parliament to rely on the provisions of motions and the conventions of this House to go back to this historic and important bill and reconsider it in the way that is truly bipartisan to conform with the convictions and confidence of our people, the initiators of the bill. Accordingly, I respectfully appeal to honourable members to reflect carefully upon the issues raised and to consider in the larger national interests the bipartisan character of the bill, the unity of the House and the nation, and the need to maintain the highest standards of procedural integrity to revisit its decision on the third reading of the bill to permit a reconsideration of the final text of the bill and any amendments.
All right, so that was Speaker of Parliament, one person who has been a champion of the bill, even though he is not an MP. He's been championing it. Now here we have him saying he has problems with the process. He has a few things to do with the transmission. You made a point that the law doesn't even give the time frame. So given his difficulties and what we've heard from the majority leaders who are saying they've done their bit, how would the process go?
Well, you have said that, I mean, although there's no specific time limit for transmission or presentation to the president, he must be done within a reasonable time. And you look at the circumstances. But if the speaker probably decides that steps should not be taken on that, I mean, I'll be a bit surprised because the speaker is calling for something which is very novel. The law has been passed, and is speaking of reconsideration, to revisit and things like that. Look, I mean, in the circumstances, and on this matter, I agree with some judges' position. That if you look at the Constitution,
there's nothing like reconsideration.
There's nothing like reconsideration. There is no other way of dealing with a bill that has been passed into a law. I think that if the president considers, if it's presented to the president and he considers the bill and decides to assent to it and it becomes law, and they are not happy, you can test it in court.
So what can the president say or not say? So for example, could president say that because issues of quorum were raised I am uncomfortable with signing this bill, or he can't say anything like that.
No, Salom, let me tell you one thing. Look, I mean, we have just picked parts of the bill, and I can tell you, if I were to take the bill and go through, I may see other things which can be very controversial.
I see, but
I'm telling you, so now.
In a few seconds, deal with me. Deal with the issue of quorum for me.
Yeah.
Of course, we saw the Justice Abdullahi versus Attorney General matter.
Yeah.
Quorum very important. Issues of quorum could be raised on the floor.
Yes.
If it's not raised, Parliament will go ahead and do what they have to do.
Yeah.
But the Supreme Court cannot, or the judiciary cannot sit aloof when the matter is brought to it. It must deal with it. And in that case, it said that once quorum is not, there's no quorum and a decision is made, that is null and void.
Yes, but before I go to the issue of quorum, and so I'm saying that if the bill is passed, and it's only parliamentarians that can undo the bill, unless they decide again that they are going to repeal, they want to repeal the bill completely.
Repeal?
You have to completely take it out. That's the only way I see it. How else are they going to deal with it? To repeal it completely.
Very well.
But at this point, I don't think that the Speaker's call for reconsideration is in order. I think there's no legal basis for that.
I see. A few of your messages have come through, but I take a short break. When I come back, we will deal with the issue of flats, and I'll read your messages. We've been dealing with the LGBT bill matter and all of those. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
Channel One TV.
You're welcome back. This is What the Papers Are Saying. My name is Selom Adonu. My guests are Albert Koshiga, Esquire, and Musa Dankwa, poster of the Global Info Analytics. A few of your messages have come through. I'm Selina from Tanoso. I think the MPP does not think about the people of Ghana. What they want is to pay NDC with their own coin. They know very well that there's nothing wrong with the new bill. It's just the way they wanted it to be for Nana Addo to sign. Just that they don't want NDC to have their easy way out. That is the problem. That's the problem I have with those two political parties. They always think about how their party can come to power than the welfare of the people of Ghana. This one says it looks like the Speaker is somehow a hindrance to the passing of the bill. Hence, the bill was passed in his absence. This one said, if biologically someone feels a female, then why not go in for a woman who also feels like a man? But rather goes in to convince people who have so much feelings to become their partners. Okay, that's a question you ask. This one from Wales Yoga in Ho West constituency says, good evening, Solomon, to your panelists. Ghanaians should fully support the majority leader in passing the LGBT law. Their actions reflect our commitment to equality and human rights. There is no reason to revisit the matter in Parliament. It is now time for the President to enact this important legislation, or to assent to it, you mean. Let's move forward and embrace progress together, not backward. Well, so these are your views, and you can share them, other ones as well, using the number on your screen by WhatsApp. Now let's deal with the matter of the floods. Yesterday I was in town when it was raining, and it was crazy. You know, it got to a time I got scared. I nearly parked, but I soldiered on. The whole city appeared flooded, and this was just about 2-3 hour rain. 2-3 hours of rain will bring the city to a standstill and causes havoc. That should be scary, Albert.
Yeah, so next time it's raining, you should try and park very quickly, because I have learned from June 3rd when people who should have parked decided to drive through, and there were all kinds of issues. They got stuck and there were problems. So next time it's raining, don't move. Just find a place. Don't park under a tree anyway, because you might fall on your car, and all that. Yeah, but Solomon, I have been, you know, for me, I look at the patterns of apart from all the human behavior, or part of the things we are doing to put unnecessary pressure on the environment. The question I like to ask myself when I see these things happening is to ask whether you know, we ever have a resilient city. I mean, how resilient is our city? A city is resilient when, in spite of rain and other forms of natural events, people are able to go about their duties without the whole city coming to a standstill. It looks like what happens here is the opposite. So every time there's a rainfall, there's an issue. But the other part of what I look at is the volumes of rain we are having. And to be very honest, I do not have, as I said, I don't have the data to say whether the volumes of rainfall we've had the past 2 days has been more than ones we've had before. But there's something which we have to all be drawing our attention to. As somebody who is focused on climate change law and the impacts of our changing climate, when things like this happen, I begin to ask myself a lot of questions. I mean, why this rainfall pattern? And so we have to ask ourselves, are we receiving more rains than usual? Or it's just normal? And I think this thing will require a lot of data to say. Because if you are receiving much more rain than the community can hold, then it means that something is going on. Our climate is changing and the impacts are being felt.
But the other issue is that the rains may not have increased. We need data to back that.
Yes.
But the rains now don't have places to go.
But that's one issue. But the question you have to ask yourself is that, assuming that we had very big drains and all that, and everything was okay, right? And the volumes of rainfall was too much for the city. Can we still be able to hold the water? You know that sometimes, not in other places, when it rains heavily, even advanced countries, when it rains sometimes, the volumes of rainfall can become a problem for the community to handle.
Yes.
I think last year, two years ago, there were issues in South America, Brazil, other places where there were rainfalls. Some of the cities were flooded. People were in all kinds of situations. Now, I'm looking at the bigger issue. There are human factors.
Deal with the human factors.
No, there are human factors. I don't want to. A lot of things have been said about the human factor already. Do you get it?
So your point is that the climate might be changing, and that's why we are facing this.
No, I'm saying that that's one of the reasons. So it's possible that we are having more volumes of rain than we used to have. But assuming that we had a society where everything was okay, we had proper drains and all that, and people were responsible in terms of dumping refuse and all that, right? People were not blocking waterways and building in waterways and all that. Assuming that all those things were okay, would it have been better? Maybe it would have been better. Well, we know people are breaking laws all over the place. People are building in waterways and all that. And we've seen assemblies trying to break down buildings and all that. And for me, that's the other part, the knee-jerk reaction. We wait. You see, we behave like the vulture. You know, the vulture there's a very funny analogy about the vulture. Now, anytime the clouds gather and it's about to rain, the vulture promises that I'll build my house. This time I have to build my house. The moment the rains are over,
then it forgets
and flies away. I think that's the kind of behavior with the people we hear. We get it. We know the cause of the problems, and some of them might be beyond us, but there are some which are within our control, where people are building in waterways, people are selling places they shouldn't sell and all that. We have to let the laws work. Trust me, the laws are there.
I see. Musa, we've lost count the number of times we have discussed floods. When you look in the records, far back as 1960, etc., we're still dealing with the same issues, human factors, etc. Here we are, although it's what it is, and a whole lot. What can we do? What's the problem? Why are we not doing better? Look, June 3, lessons 11 years on, it doesn't appear we've learned so much.
There are the low-hanging fruits in dealing with this issue, which is the sanitation aspect, with indiscipline on our part, throwing things in the drains and then blocking the waterways. Sometimes you see that the bridge is there, but huge plastic or something has come to block it, and then it passes the pressure backwards and begin to flood behind. Also, we have actually mismanaged our infrastructure when it comes to dealing with these floods. I remember the Conti project that was supposed to be funded by World Bank and deal with the big storm drains. All we saw was some few yards from the roadside behind where nobody sees. Nothing is done there. So it's like they focus on the areas where people can see that, some work has been done, but behind it, there's nothing. I think that has been mismanaged. We need to revisit that and see what we can do to reinforce that. Then you have another aspect, which is sanitation as well. Greater Accra, they wait until it's raining, then people begin to dump their waste into the drains and it creates problem. I think we need to be more serious, and also the assemblies and their permitting system. I mean, they allow...
Nobody punishes anybody.
No.
They give permits and nobody punishes anybody. Nobody investigates anything, and so they will do it again.
They will do it again.
open drinks everywhere. People open water into the road.
People granting permits to build at places they don't have
we
to
are
build.
just a country of lawlessness.
And when you go, they'll show you permits. And we don't go after the people at the assemblies that grant these permits.
Look,
that is a problem. If you did it to 2-3 people, where to go around next time? If they are
try
giving
them.
permit, they'll be careful. And I'm sure that should be the beginning of our solution.
Absolutely. We have to
We should crack the whip.
While we conclude today's edition of the program, of course, viewers know that today marks exactly 8 years that Channel 1 television started as City TV hit your screens. And I'm sure you would admit that over the last 8 years, we have brought you some very good programming. We brought you some very good things. And I'm happy to be part of this. And Albert Koshiga, who is part of was part of the initial setup, on radio, is here. And of course, Musa Dankwa too. Just take a few words from you, happy birthday message, etc. for City TV, for Channel 1 television. Then
I knew I was going to read this up. Well, so you have said, I consider myself as belonging to the City family. In 2004, we began this whole dream. City FM began, and we're some of the first voices to go on radio for City. I look back with a lot of pride, and especially when the TV, aspect came in, I knew that we had just hit the ceiling, and for me, it was great. So far, City has shown that whatever it decides to do, it will do it well, and I think I have to say something to Samens. Let me tell you, Samens is a great guy. Samens knows how to bring talents together.
Surely.
And he knows how to manage those talents. I think whatever people see today, he may not have done it alone, but he's been the leader in all this. And so on the occasion of your 8th anniversary, I want to say, should I say happy
birthday.
Happy anniversary to City TV. You people have done a great job, and we're all proud to be part of the City family.
Great. Musa, you have been fantastic on the channel as well.
Yes, let me tell you one thing. When we started the polling, nobody wanted to listen to us, but City TV gave us the audience. And I don't think they've regretted it. And we also have
because we see far.
Absolutely. It's been very fantastic working with you guys. Bernard Avle, Jabano, Duke, and all the rest of the guys look fantastic. Yourself. We've been talking behind the scenes.
Yes.
It's been very fantastic station so far, and I think you're gonna keep striding. Breaking bounds and all sort of things. I wish you a happy anniversary.
All right, good. Very much. Yeah. So that's how we conclude today's edition of the program. Big ups to you, and thanks so much to our papacy, Sabalata Mensah, for moving this where it's going. And we hope and pray that you stick and stay with us, even as we open the next chapter. So this is cheers to 8 more years of greatness and excellence in programming. Have a good evening.